How you guys doing? James here. I was looking at my camera, my counter. Um, I want to show you something recently. I'm gonna start with this particular gentleman, and I'm gonna show you what's happening. And really, it's coming down to free speech, and there are people behind this. What they're doing, a particular group of people, is going. Even though they're so-called bullying people, they're so-called trying to get people to shut them down, push them off the internet, whatever, ruin their career. There's going to be a price to pay because the ones that keep doing that think that they can ride this wave. It's going to find out in the end. I'm going to show you. But first, I'm going to introduce you to this gentleman, Pastor Kelly, and I'll take you to the video.
Thinking about what's been going on over the past few weeks, and really what's been going on these past few days. And I tell you, monetization has done a lot to cripple many, starting with our community responses to things that are happening around us. Right? I sat back and I see how among our community, these big sites, those that have large platforms, large channels, how the Keke Palmer situation, is flooding the channels, how the Will Smith situation is flooding the channels. I'm seeing how even with this the James Harden situation flooding the channel, a lot of things that are flooding the YouTubers or content creators, and I tell you, monetization has done a lot to cripple our people in terms of, speaking up. And what do I mean by that? I posted a video a couple of days ago, actually yesterday, day before yesterday actually, about the actor, the Jewish actor, Michael Rappaport, who literally claim to fame came off of pretty much the backs of our community. From his dad, some of you guys may, if you're from the New York, New Jersey area, remember the radio station 92 KTU? That was like the radio station for underground hip hop before hip hop got popular. That's where you had Super Rock and Mr. Magic. This is when the hip hop was still in its infant stage in terms of popularity. But if you were from that local area, Friday 92 KTU was the channel to listen to. Well, his father was part of the management, but I think he was a disc jockey, if I remember correctly, at that time. But this guy made a history early on, being, really using our culture, our community, to really get to where he is and starting off, right? You'll see his first movie like Zebrahead and some of the other movies that he's done. You'll see that even as mannerism, you'll see a lot of that heavily connected to our community. But that aside, I remember 1 year ago when Kanye West, made the news with the comments that he had made. We all know about that, right? But what many of you guys didn't know is that a year ago, he did a series of videos, and those clips just so happened I recorded those clips, and I was going to do something on it, but then that's when I was getting into all kinds of craziness with YouTube, and so I just, my channel kept getting strikes and all kinds of stuff. Whole nother story. So I was about to walk away from YouTube with all the stuff that they were doing. So, but I put those video clips aside. But I saved those clips where he was mocking Kanye West having a mental issue in terms of mental breakdowns and all that. He was mocking him about electrical shock treatments. He was going, and you guys saw the clips, right? So, but it didn't stop there. Since this whole ordeal situation overseas, since the situation overseas occurred, with the whole thing that's happening over in Israel, we see that he made a series of comments going at our community. Even though a lot of it was geared towards Kanye West, when you understand what he said a year ago, but ultimately our community. Now I'm going to say this to see the music cast. If you want to understand what black tar is, then you research black tar. I'm not going to define something that you can research. If you're really interested in wanting to know what that term is, then you do the research on black tar. Don't insult me. Don't insult this platform. If you really want to know what it means, you go look it up for yourself. If you really have a desire to know what black tar is. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and just kick that person out. See, family, that's I have no tolerance for that. If that person really wanted to know what black tar is, look it up. You look it up. I'm not going to explain to you what black tar is. You look it up. You take the time out and you do your research. And then let's see if you bring that to the attention of the public about what he had said. So he went on a rant, a racist rant, and literally called all our community, in a nutshell, those that are not supporting the Israelis, called us sick, uneducated, sick, dumb, uneducated tar, blood. So any dark melanated person that is a descendant of slaves know what that means. But the sad thing about it is, crickets from our community. Crickets from our community. You don't see none of these big platforms that had a lot to say about Kanye West a year ago. I'm talking about platforms from within our community. You don't see the Roland Martins. You don't see none of them. The same ones that called Kanye West names a year ago. Where are they now? Where are they now? See, this tells you just how deep the money goes. This tells you just how deep the money goes. It's all about money. It's all about monetization for your channels, getting your channels monetized to make money. It's all about likes and subscribers, but not about telling the truth. Not about this truth. Not about standing up for what is right. Where is Amari Stoudemire, who was calling out Black Lives Matter, but has nothing to say when the group down at the Israeli group down in Atlanta stated that the young blacks are a threat? Crickets. Where's the NAACP? Crickets. I know why the NAACP is not saying anything. Where's all these guys? Where's the same people? Where's the Tasha K's? Where's these people that have these large platforms? Where are they? How come they're not even commenting on that? That our children, the next generation, is a threat. Because I said it before, what you see happening overseas is going to come to our doorsteps here. Actually, it's already been at our doorsteps, but it's going to get worse. So you see the laws that not laws, but you see the things that are being promoted, being stirred up, that anyone that don't support this, support the Israelis, whether you don't support either or. If you say, hey, I don't support either or, which I don't support either or. I don't support either or. I don't support one side or the other. But if you do take a side, like some students in Harvard University had to learn, that you have these billionaire Ashkenazi Jewish owners, billionaires, trying to bully college students for executing their right to protest, to disagree. You weren't malicious with their disagreements. They just didn't agree with that group. But they'll blacklist you. Notice the term blacklist you, right? Come on, family. But you have this actor literally called our people dumb, sick, dumb, uneducated tar. And no one is saying anything. Look it up, family. Look it up. See if you can find anyone trying to talk about this. See if you can find anyone talking about this rant, especially from our community. Where's the what's his name? Umar Johnson. Where's the Umar Johnson? Where's the Tariq Nasheed? Or excuse me if I mispronounce his name, no offense. But where are these guys? Where's the Sinetas, who got his channel that's all he does is that makes you rail against his own people now? Where are these people that's talking about black power? Where are they right now when someone literally calls our entire community sick, dumb, uneducated black tars? Where are they? See, family, take that video link and you go to these different people, content creators, and you post that link on it. You let your voice be known. This person should have a lot of heat on them because of what he said. Just like the heat was brought on Kanye West, guess what? Bring the heat on this person for what he said, the racial comments that he said about our community. But it's crickets, though. It's crickets.
Sorry about that.
Absolutely. Keith Cunningham, I did see a small YouTuber speak on this last week. A small YouTuber. You saw one person outside it. Where the rest are? Where the large platforms? Where are they? This person, Michael Rappaport, we should be on fire about what he said. We should be bringing the same heat, just like what was brought to Kanye West, just like what was brought to Kyrie Irving, just like what was brought to Whoopi Goldberg. He should be under the same level of heat that was placed under those guys.
Yeah. I'm going to show you what he's talking about.
Gold represents the spirit of prosperity and security. Its universal global demand, superior return.
Let's see what he was talking about. About the students and stuff. Watch this.
What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. I hope that each and every one of you all are doing great this beautiful day. But I have some information I want to share with you. Very frightening information. Shout out to IUIC, who actually informed me on what is actually going on right now beneath our eyes of an organization who I think is a Jewish-ran organization, who is collectively going out, getting information on individuals who either speaks about against Israel, protests against Israel, either shows any anti-Semitic behaviors. And we're going to go to their website so we can show you, because many of you all don't know, like I've said before in many of my videos, that I've worked in the intelligence agency, did my 20 years of military, have a broad background on many of these things that this government does, that I'm just trying to lend you some gold nuggets. That's right. We need to be aware of what's going on, especially my brothers and sisters out here who are in a struggle, or in the struggle, the belly of the beast. We would call Babylon, because, nobody wants their children's future to be ruined. Nobody wants their children to have a step, be behind the step, if you will, and somebody have a step up on them when they're going to college and finishing college, trying to start careers and all this here. But this particular Jewish organization is willfully going out, trying to ruin people's lives, putting people's personal information out there. One, potentially sending people who maybe can do bodily harm to you, as well as having your employee or college or your religion group or whomever you're affiliated with, who can go on the site and see that you are part of a hate group that can destroy your life. We're going to get into this right here. I hope that each and every one of you all learn from this. Share this video. Very important to share, family. All you got to do is click on the share, send to one of your social media outlets, so that people will be educated. Because I'm about to drop a nugget, another gold nugget in your lap, that this was foretold already scripturally, where we are at today with this type of behavior. So let's go on and get into it. Let me share my screen real quick. And we're gonna go.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Shit. Oh boy. Damn it. Oh shit.
Anti-Semitism. In January 2023, Raymer was selected as an academic fellowship finalist, blah, blah. They just mentioned that. And it goes on and says, Finley reported, this is a report that was done, according to authors John Meshemer and Stephen Walt's 2007 book, The Israel Lobby and U.S. Foreign Policy Invokes the Conspiracy Theory of Israel. So they're reciting things that this guy was into. They're sharing what this guy was part of or affiliated with, and so they got his information out here. They got his status of he's a student, the organization he's affiliated with, the last modified, meaning the last time he did any actions or probably uploaded, which is November the 9th, photos and screenshots, infamous quotes. He said, F America, F everyone who supports America, and F the troops. You know, well, goodness gracious. I wonder if they got me on here. I couldn't find my name. I looked for myself on this family. I could not find me on it. Because, damn Erica, you know, I ain't afraid of them. I'm 57 years old. You know, what you gonna do to me? I serve the Most High. They've been trying to destroy me since the day I came out my mama's womb. I ain't worried about these jokers. But many of y'all might be. So y'all stick around as y'all see what scrolls on my under my page there. When it comes to, you all gotta understand this right here. This attack that is happening is going to happen more. Do you not know these students are placed in databases? Now take it from me. I got the experience. I'm trying to tell you. These students will be placed in databases. In these databases, when they're taken by the CIA or FBI or the DIA, these organizations, what they will do, they will go scrub them. Scrub them means that they will go with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to go through their bank accounts. They're going to check to see what their money is. They can shut them down. They can take away their passports. They can do all these things because then they become listed as a hate group and a potential threat to the security of America or to the threat of others. So this is damning, and this is right out destructive of what this organization, which I think is ran by a Jewish organization, is doing to many of the people out here. Sad to say, we do have our brothers and others that are on here who are actually affected. Let's look up some other ones. Let's look up this young brother right here. It looks like it says Matthew Wilson reportedly organized a mob attack on Jewish students during an anti-Israel protest October 23 at Cooper Union College. The incident occurred in the wake of series of Hamas terror attacks and war crimes that left over 1,400 Israeli dead. On October 25th, 2023, a group of anti-Israel protesters reportedly attempted to attack Jewish students during an anti-Israel protest on the Cooper Union campus. Where's Cooper? The victims of the mob attack hid inside the college libraries. Now, here's the question. I'm about to drop y'all another gold nugget. How did they get this information? I mean, we're talking about this information, whether or not they had to go through the Freedom of Information Act and gather this information from the police department, or when I noticed when I went on Black Lives Matters marches, when it started back a few years back, because your man knows what he's talking about, I witnessed those people within the crowd who were agents. With signs, with their shades. These are people who are strategically placed in crowds. You think they are down with your cause, but these people are against you and are gathering information. You see, when you think that your little friend at college, that they're down with you, and they're sitting here asking you questions, they get to know about you, you think that you're okay. But little you know, you're messing with agents. And yet, this information is gathered. Let's check out some other people. Let's look at this Muslim young lady right here. I'm quite sure she's Palestinian. Yeah. On October, this woman here, Samia Afrose. So they got a video here, which let me share with you again, because many of y'all don't know the technology. They have face recognition computers, cameras that are out here. Everything you're tied to, even your cell phone, that you look at your cell phone when you beautifying yourself and you doing selfies, did you know your cell phone takes pictures of you? Did you know your phone actually listens to you? I'm going to tell you how to go ahead and do a test. Do this test right here. I want you to think about uh, when you are just in a room or someplace with somebody and you're conversating. Think of something as odd as possible that's not a normal topic of discussion. And then, in a matter of probably a few hours or so, could be quicker, I've seen it pop like that. And it just happened to me and my wife again just about a week ago. We were talking about, I think it was like Target or something. And then instantly her phone message went out, boom, Target, an ad came up about Target. And I was like, there you go. They listen, they watch, they take photos. So do the test of something odd or something you don't really talk about. See how long does it take to pop up on your social media form. In other words, the ads on your social medias. See if you see the ads, or when you go on internet, do you see those ads pop up? And then you know you're being watched, you're being listened by Big Brother. This young lady right here, she says member of a group blaming Israel for Hamas war crimes. She's a member of group blaming Israel. Ain't that something, y'all? On October 8th, 2023, Harvard's Palestine Solidarity Committee released on Instagram a joint statement by Harvard Palestinian Solidarity Groups on a situation in Palestine. The statement backed the war crimes, including beheading of children perpetrated by the terror group Hamas against the Israeli civilians. It read, "We, the undersigned student organization, hold the Israeli regime entirely responsible for all unfolding violence." The statement also claimed the atrocities did not occur in a vacuum and that the coming days will require a firm stand against colonial retaliation. The list of student groups that signed on to the statement was later removed following a public outrage. Now listen to this right here, family, because this right here is what, for those who's coming in, is a page called the Canary Mission that gathers information on anyone who either speaks out against Israel, Jews, if you speaking out against, if you showing any anti-Semitic behaviors. This is what's in their statement that you need to go into the about, and they have their statement of what they're about. Now let's go back here. Let's look up somebody else here. Let's see what they got to say about this brother right here. Christopher Rogers, a member of a group supporting Hamas war crimes. On October 11, 2023, University of Pennsylvania. So you see all these colleges. How do they get all this information on all these different colleges? Because they're watching. That's 3 different colleges already during this whole event of the Israeli-Palestinian war. But the University of Pennsylvania anti-Israeli group PEN Students Against the Occupation of Palestine authored a statement in the support of Hamas titled Statement of the Solidarity with Palestine. Let me tell y'all something real quick. Okay? People always ask me, am I part of this group or that group? This, and I say, I'm not part of no groups. I don't need to be part of no groups. Back then I wouldn't put my name because I've worked in intelligence. I didn't put my name on no church rolls back then when I was going to these churches. I ain't no member of no church. I ain't a member of no groups. I ain't member of nothing. You got to be careful what you sign on paper, because these people who might be agents send that information in to these task force, to these agencies. I don't care if you're part of sororities. I don't care if you're part of an Illuminati, whether you're part of the Masons, whether you're part of whatever. You best believe your information is being used and passed on. This is where we come to. But they told you have a right to you have rights of freedom of speech, as well as that you have a right to assemble. This is what they say. But this group here, this Jewish group called Canary Mission, is collecting all of this information. Now let's go further on. All this information from all of this continues forever. I mean, you can keep scrolling, and they put all the information. They put the status as a student, state Massachusetts. They got the organization they're affiliated with, and then they have this write-up about the person. Sofia Farko was a member of the Harvard student group that signed a statement blaming Israel. Signed a statement. And my concern is that it's the black people that I have really, most of the black and brown folks who have really, I have the issue with, because we know white folk, most of these parents who kids are going to these Harvards and stuff can pay to clean their children's record. Our children, we're 2 steps behind those who are our so-called counterparts or our colleagues in trying to get jobs. That these companies can go and search your name out and find your name on a group. That now you're going to have difficulty finding jobs. You're going to find difficulty getting a bank account. You're going to find difficulty getting housing loans. You're going to find a difficulty for you to get business loans or business opportunity. They are going to destroy your entire life. Let's continue on. They got professors, y'all. These are professors at universities. Yes. They've even collected the names of the professors and all of them. Let's go ahead and check up one. Let's check out this old lady right here. Margaret Olin. Margaret Olin has shown support for terrorists, promoting incitement and demonized Israel. Olin has been an activist with the anti-Israeli organization Tayash since 2014. How did they get that information? The group described itself as Israeli and Palestinians striving together to end the Israeli occupation. Olin posted an anti-Israeli article and photographs of her activism with Tayash to her personal website. You see? They watching everything. And it goes on right there, and it talks about her supporting terrorist groups, and it just has a huge write-up on her. I mean, who got time to do all this information and research, background information? Do you know how much it costs to do background information? If anybody knows, I know. I used to work in the Air Force Central Adjudication Facility, and I know everything about what it takes for a background investigation. It costs $20,000, $30,000 on one individual if you're going to do a tight one. But in saying that, what do we have? We have the professors, right? We got the college students. This goes on and on, y'all. Y'all need to educate your children. Now, I ain't saying you need to walk in fear and all that right there, but you got to know that these agencies, these groups, these organizations, they are out here collecting information on you, and you may wonder why you didn't get that job, why you didn't get accepted into the college, why you did not get that housing loan, why you did not get a business loan, why you did not get that certificate or that license or that. It goes on and on. Now let's look at over here. We went from the students to the professors. They even got professionals. And this list goes on and on and on and on. And this right here, let's click open old Luke Manning. Luke Manning mocked an anti-Semitic assault, expressed support for the Hamas terrorist group, showed a violent hatred of Israel, spread hatred of Zionists, and demonized Israel. As of July 2023, Manning LinkedIn page, there you go, there's another social media, they checked them out, they got all this information, said he was a freelance illustrator since September 2019 in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. As of the same date, Manning LinkedIn said he graduated in 2021 with a bachelor's degree in fine and studio arts from Salisbury University, located in Salisbury, Maryland. Now, here's the scary part about this family. They're going to say where he lives. They're going to say his background. They're going to tell all the information, which could be a setup for somebody to go take him out. Some crazy person. This is crazy. It goes on and mentions all about it. Look at the write-up. Do you know the man hours it takes to gather this information? Let's go to organizations. Now they go to the organization. All the following organizations have shown themselves to warrant inclusion based on required that can be viewed on our ethnic policy page.
Wow.
All these organizations. Here's my brother and them, Israel United in Christ. So he lists all these organizations that they want to go ahead and put out here so that they can try to get other people not to support, not to donate, not to sponsor any of these organizations to try to go ahead and add pressure. Now let me further go on here. Let me make sure I'm just making sure I'm seeing what y'all see. Okay. Look at this right here. Now, it has its policy, but here's the blackmail to try to force your hand. It's got something called Ex-Canary. Ex-Canary, it says here right up, Ex-Canary features individuals who were formally investigated and featured on Canary missions, but have since rejected the latent anti-Semitism on the far right, far left, and among anti-Israeli organization and activists. These individuals have displayed the intellectual honesty to acknowledge the problems of anti-Semitism within anti-Israel organizations such as Students for Justice in Palestine, Jewish Voice of Peace for Peace, and the Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions movement. They have shown moral courage to recognize their early mistakes. Despite social pressures from their peers, we commend these individuals for their strength of character in embracing tolerance and coexistence. So what is this you say? You can see, this is where people have found their names on the list. It's not a lot of them. And then they decided,
hi, I'm Julie Fan. I grew up in Tacoma, Washington.
I'm gonna leave that right there. But
And then, family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth. Last month we were subjected to the disgusting spectacle of the Florida bunny ruckus Jacoby Pittman, who defended Ron DeSantis after he helped to encourage and inspire a mass murder of black Floridians. We don't have a leadership class in Black America. What we've got is a turncoat class, because they've literally been bought and paid for by white power. People who we don't know and didn't choose and who have nothing but contempt for us. We always have these clowns who seemingly drop out of nowhere, and when they pop up on the scene, they instantly have favorable white media coverage. They get news stories talking about how great they are, their background, etc. It's obvious the white media is bigging them up and trying to push them on us hard. People we don't know who are crowned leaders of the black community, and who's crowning them? The white media. And notice how none of these people ever says, hey, I'm not the leader of the black community, I'm not the leader of anything. No. When the white media heaps praise on them, they are only too eager to say, yep, that's me, leader, and here's where I'm leading, folks. This is what y'all need to be following. No, they understand that they're tools of white supremacy, and they lean into that role heavy. They have their hands out all the time looking for money from white power, be it money from the government or companies or private individuals. They're political prostitutes, except they're not just selling themselves. They're also trying to whore out the black community, too. The mission of the black grassroots is to ensure that we have the resources we require to defend our present and to ensure our future. The mission of the traitor class is to make sure that never happens. These traitors are kamikazes. They don't care if their stupidity leads to their own deaths. Karen Bass isn't thinking about anything other than Karen Bass. Officer Eric Adams, Mayor Eric Adams of New York, same thing. Bunny Ruckus, Jacoby Pittman, that is, same thing. White power makes it a point to look for and carefully select these kinds of self-destructive bootlicks, cretins who won't protect themselves and don't care what happens tomorrow. Can you imagine the effect of having one such person in a position to represent the black community? Now, can you imagine if your entire political class was riddled and infested with people like this? That's what we're up against. Years ago, I told you about a documentary from Al Jazeera called The Lobby USA. It dealt specifically with the Israeli government and how they lobby for laws to benefit the Israeli government, but mostly how the Israeli government uses millions and millions of dollars, much of it coming from the US, to silence anyone who disagrees with them on their policies. The Israeli government and their friends in private industry fund entire constellations of organizations dedicated to that goal. One of these groups had a meeting which was secretly recorded, and an Israeli government official said this.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there. I had last week sit-down dinner at my house with some people which are considered the leadership of the black community, and it's very important. They can be part of our doing an activity.
Did you get that? Private dinners with people who they consider to be our leaders. Well, who said that they were our leaders? The white media, which doesn't actually report the views of black people. They instead try to dictate our views to us, tell us lies and repeat them endlessly and see if we eventually start falling for it. A lot of black people do. But as this Israeli diplomat said, the younger black people are not falling for it, and that's a problem. As she put it, the biggest problem they face. Now, black people, certainly young black people, have never declared themselves enemies of Israel, so why is this woman talking like this? Black people in general don't think about Israel at all, certainly not in a hostile way. Yet she's declaring that black people are the enemy and that she has some black folks on the payroll who could be part of their doings and activities. Their doings and activities for what? She doesn't say. She also doesn't ask, how can we befriend the black community? How can we help them to get what they need to show our goodwill? How can we use our influence and resources to help the black community to achieve its objectives? You see, that approach is common sense. And she knows this. Instead, all she's talking about is how these bootlick pals of hers can be made of use. This is someone who's giving a blueprint for manipulation, not friendship, and she gave the game away. Now, you'll notice she said she had these sellouts at her house for dinner. Well, as I've been telling you for years now, when it comes to these bootlicks, they'll sell us out for a home-cooked meal. It sounds ridiculous, and it is, but it's also the truth. The bootlick has no shame and no brains. Things that are patently ridiculous to you and me come naturally to them. And for them to be so easily bought off with a plate of food shows that the plantation mentality is alive and well among the same traitor class who worked to undermine every slave revolt we ever staged. All these so-called black activist organizations are nothing more than social clubs. They get together, shuck and jive, and eat a few plates of food, then go home and do nothing. It is not some victimless crime when these professional do-nothing organizations have their NAACP spring breakfast, followed by the National Action League summer brunch, followed by the Urban League fall fish fry. These are literally plantation politics. It's the pork barrel all over again. They treat black people like a bunch of slaves, and too many of us play along with it. We have people who brag that they have set up puppets within our community whose job is to tell us that they'll represent our interest, and then the second that they're out of sight, it's off to the cookout. As the black community, we're supposed to be asking who was at these closed-door meetings this woman was talking about. What were they talking about, and what were they doing against us? Now that brings me to the latest update on how white power is bragging about how they have these puppets on strings, and how these sellouts are so suicidal they'll sit on their hands while it happens. AIPAC, the powerful pro-Israel lobbying group, has been mounting an effort to go after members of the Congressional Black Caucus. And why is that? Because some of them apparently haven't been towing the line as much as AIPAC wants. The problem isn't that they haven't been obeying, the problem is they haven't been sufficiently subservient while they do it. According to The Intercept, the only incumbent politicians AIPAC has been targeting this year are all CBC members. In Pennsylvania, AIPAC tried to recruit a black candidate to run against Representative Summer Lee. That would-be challenger, Lindsey Powell, declined AIPAC's offer. So did a white candidate that they tried to recruit, Corey O'Connor. Eventually, there was an Indian candidate, Bhavini Patel, who has allegedly accepted AIPAC's offer, and yes, this Patel woman is a Democrat. CBC members regularly attend lavish so-called vacations that AIPAC sponsors, where these political pimps go to Israel for an all-expenses-paid trip where they get wined and dined and are told how much they will benefit personally if they just go along with what these representatives of the Israeli government and their supporters in the U.S. say that they want done. Hakeem Jeffries, who is the minority leader in the House, wants to become Speaker, which would make him the first non-white person to hold that position. Problem for him is that he won't be able to get it without AIPAC's help, or at least those who are adjacent to it. AIPAC has always been right-leaning, but more than a few Democrats have bent the knee. Some thought that if they just didn't make any noise, then that they would be all right and wouldn't fall in their crosshairs. But of course it never works out that way. AIPAC's gunning for black Democrats who they can knock off, and the Congressional Black Caucus's leadership is sitting on their hands. The biggest reason is that this is a struggle between the old Negroes in Congress, who learned how to prostitute themselves for campaign cash, and as they see it, their only priority is to hold on to office because that's the only way that they can eat, and the only way that their kids get any money either. But it's also a struggle between younger folks who are coming in who apparently weren't getting taken care of so well. When you dance with the devil doesn't change. What's really interesting is that AIPAC's targeting these CBC members because they express support for the Palestinians. Or at the very least, they dare to say that Israel's being a bit rough on them. Now, wouldn't it be nice if any of them was making noise for black people and reparations? See, even the Negroes who white power claims to have an issue with are still playing the game. Everyone knows the third rail of American politics, and it's not Palestine, it's black empowerment. Well, these so-called progressive CBC members tried to play it safe, and they still got put in the crosshairs anyway. It's like I've always told you. Bootlicking is a career path that doesn't come with a retirement plan. And they'll never put their own empty heads together against this anti-black racist initiative because they themselves are untrustworthy. They're trifling and treacherous. They know how conniving they are, and they know their fellow bootlicks are just as dirty. And since they depend on white power for every crumb of their daily bread, then of course they're not going to lift a finger for one another. They lack the will or the resources to protect themselves. They're publicly elected slaves. And the worst part is, they chose to be so. Alright, so that's the problem. What might be the solution? Ultimately, the black grassroots have to get their hands on the levers of power, because they should be in our hands. But before we go reaching for those levers, we have to make sure we're rock solid committed to our goals. White power loves to do gut checks on us, to hit us every once in a while and see how we react. Too many of us run the second that we encounter any resistance. Our focus must be to change that. For those of you who may wonder, when it comes to a political campaign, you need to start at least 4 years out from the campaign as far as planning goes. The first 2 years of activity is supposed to be devoted to canvassing and getting your monetary support infrastructure in place. Notice the wording that I used. The point is to perform your due diligence. Find out exactly how many eligible voters there are in the district that you want to run in, and then find out how many votes the incumbent that you want to run against got and how much you need to knock them off. Also, check into campaign finance records. Find out how much money your opponent was able to raise. That'll give you some idea of the ballpark you need to be reaching for. Most of these politicians who are in office, they didn't get there with millions and millions of dollars. Many of them simply got there because nobody dared to challenge them. People gave up on the process. They dropped out of the voting scene. And that creates an opportunity. 2 years out from the election is when you begin actually campaigning. If you wait until 6 months before the election, which is what a lot of people do, then you're dead in the water. Too many black people wait until election day itself, and by then you become just another also-ran. People need to learn your name and what you're going to do if elected, and that takes time. It will also take time to reach enough people so you can overcome whatever the existing local political structure is. The bad guys aren't going to just lay down and admit defeat. They'll use their little old machine to try to fight you. That's the bad news. The good news is they can be overcome if you make preparations. Now, the most difficult part is aggregating resources. AIPAC can easily go to white donors because white power gave them all the wealth. Where black people are concerned, it's a lot more difficult. This is where the first 2 years come into play. If you want votes, you have to make the case. If you want money, same thing. At some point, we will have to begin pushing back in the political arena because right now, the CBC is not the only group of old Negroes facing opposition. But this new black insurgency requires power on all levels. We have to be laser focused on that because if we are, then we'll not only cut the puppet strings, we'll also break the ones pulling the strings too.
I chose Crown because they were family owned. They actually care.
Doing what they're doing. This is going to happen to them.
They care for their technicians, employees.
In a stunning act of defiance, Turkey has turned its back on decades of cooperation with Israel. Without warning, President Erdogan cut off oil supplies to Israel in retaliation for their support of the controversial new rail and maritime corridor. This aggressive sanction leaves Israel scrambling as tensions in the region reach a boiling point. In response to Turkey's bold move, a group of nations, including the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Israel, and Saudi Arabia, have come together to create a groundbreaking rail connection known as the IMIC. This initiative, supported by both the US and the European Union, is set to revolutionize the way goods are transported between Europe and India. Instead of relying on Turkey, the IMIC opts for a sea route, serving as a direct challenge to China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, as highlighted by industry experts. However, Turkey perceives the IMIC as a significant threat to its long-standing pivotal role in facilitating trade between Europe and Asia. This marks a seismic shift in global trade dynamics, and its consequences are expected to be far-reaching. This development has led to a tense standoff, with President Erdogan issuing a stern warning to the United Arab Emirates, asserting that there can be no corridor without Turkey. Erdogan's counter-proposal hinges heavily on securing access to Iraq's Development Road Initiative, a critical transit route into Turkey from the oil-rich Basra district in southern Iraq. Former Minister Hakan Fidan has revealed that Turkey is actively engaged in negotiations with Iraq, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. Meanwhile, in Basra, construction has already commenced on the ambitious $7 billion development road project. Spearheaded by the Italian firm Progetti Europa Global, this endeavor aims to create a comprehensive road and rail network connecting the port of Grand Fahd to various Iraqi cities, including Dwania, Najaf, Karbala, Baghdad, and Mosul. These networks will extend to the Turkish border through the town of Silopi, forging a direct link to Europe. Notably, this project is also expected to provide Iraq with access to Turkey's critical transportation networks, unlocking new opportunities for trade and economic growth. The unfolding events in the region have the potential to reshape international trade routes and exert a lasting influence on the geopolitical landscape in the years to come. The ambitious development road project also encompasses the construction of a significant port along the Mediterranean coast near the city of Mersin. The deputy governor of Mosul emphasized that Iraqi enterprises alone lack the capacity to handle such an immense endeavor. He stressed, Iraq requires the collaboration of international corporations, and the closest neighbor to Mosul is Turkey. He highlighted the necessity for Turkish businesses to be integral to this venture. As of 2022, Elkan, an Istanbul-based company, has played a significant role in the foreign direct investment made by Turkish businesses in Iraq. According to Global Data Research, this manufacturing company has established 3 new concrete batching units in Baghdad, Kut, and Al-Diania. Baghdad holds high expectations that this investment will extend beyond the $5 billion commitment made by President Erdogan to support Iraq's post-war reconstruction, a commitment announced during a summit in Kuwait in 2018. The progress of the development road project aligns with the broader tensions between Turkey and the European Union. A recent study published by the European Parliament has raised concerns about Turkey's protracted EU membership process, citing issues related to human rights abuses and legal procedures. Amnesty International has also accused Turkey of wrongly convincing 4 human rights advocates during a lengthy trial earlier this year. While Turkey has praised President Erdogan's efforts to engage with Russian President Vladimir Putin to revitalize the Black Sea grain trade, Erdogan has not been reticent about the dissatisfaction with the EU. He declared that the EU is attempting to distance itself from Turkey, stating, "We may break away from the EU if necessary, and we will evaluate these events in light of the last 24 years." Turkey's long-standing quest for EU membership has encountered numerous obstacles, with the European Parliament halting Ankara's progress in 2018 due to concerns about democratic regression. Analysts attribute Turkey's ongoing dilemma regarding its alignment between Eastern and Western countries as a contributing factor to the recent
Your job just got dramatically easier with FlexSet. Now you can deliver switchboard quality on time, every time. Use FlexSet's design software to generate
products and the alternative products. Before starting, please subscribe to the Manchester GK channel for the next part. If I missed some product which should be added, then mention in the comment box.
So the Israeli citizens want to do this. This is going to happen to their business. First is the oil, now it's the product. Bully tapping somebody, this is what happens. These products is all over the world. Israel got products. What they doing to the Palestinians, people taking note of this. Find out where their products is at. stop it right here. So basically, why they try and shut things down on citizens who speak against this part? You see what the president of Turkey did, and what they doing with their products here, and see their products is in other parts of the world. So as they releasing the stuff on them, the economy is going to affect their economy, and so it ain't nothing they can do over here. That you can put these bully tactics on the world. The world is getting tired of these bully tactics, like these certain organizations. And so, if people are getting frustrated by this, and like Scott Ritter and other ones are saying it's protesting all over Europe. Israel has products all over Europe, different places in America and Europe. If people don't buy your product, and you have the president of Turkey that needs that oil, they're gonna have to scramble. All behind what they're doing to the Palestinian people. All what some of these Israelis have done over here in America with different groups of people here, such as us. And they think that by shutting people down, exposing them, but what they don't know that it's coming back on them. It's coming right back to them, from a lower level to a higher level. And there's a high population of their products is in the United States. Some of the products you see is in the United States. And if people get whiff of it, if they get whiff of it in Europe, they get whiff of it in the Middle East, your products can't do any good. You can't make someone buy your products. You want to bully tactic different individuals and have the string puppets. See, Michael Rappaport didn't think about that. He didn't think about that. His own stupid mouth. He don't understand. You're not superior. You're not superior minded, and y'all about. And there's some people who think like him. You're about to be reminded. Because financially, there's people in Israel that's going to suffer. Not just the Palestinian people, but it's going to be Israelis. Financially. And what Netanyahu is doing and his cabinet is doing. And the leaders have gotten up over in the Arab world. So Israel have products in some of these Arab countries. Citizens are buying their food and food products. Then with that including some parts of Europe. So as people seeing this war play out, this is empathy for these hostages. But when they see what you did with the hospital, watch what's gonna happen. See what they're trying to do. This is the Most High, because you've been using this tactic, this witchcraft tactic over people. Now it's coming back in your face, because now sometimes some things about war and some things about finances. They know about finances, and Iran, Turkey is trying to get Saudi Arabia to come on, and and see now the Muslim world has come together. You have pushed them together, and then you have people who empathize more so with the Muslim world than with some Jewish, because of what they're doing to the hospitals. This is bigger than what you think. But hey, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So you can't keep bullying us and bullying other people. This is the reason why these things attack. When they do stuff like this, these organizations out of Israel, and they do it in the lobby, and they doing to control people, they just pushing people over the edge. They pushing the people to commit these hateful acts. Because now when they find out, you gonna get innocent people who are probably Jewish who don't do stuff like that. By you doing that. Because I know not all Jewish people believe in that, but these Jewish people, the ones is the Zionists is gonna get these Jewish people messed up. And my thing about going and getting the hostages is, if you got a group like about Hamas, don't you think that bombing them, you could be also taking casualties on the hostages? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But they seem to think that they Superman. They try to do it the Superman way, but it's not gonna end well. So yeah, Israel. The world is some people in the world go at you, but there's a world that mad at you, and it's not that. And when your products started, and what you're doing to the people over there when they see those babies and children, just getting around Lorraine Jordan, your product is being boycotted. Their products being boycotted in Jordan. We don't even know how many other Arab countries that's boycotting their products. They're gonna feel the effect. They're gonna feel the effect here in the United States too. So they can bully tactic with other people's information, but it's gonna come right back on them because it comes at a higher level, and people are not gonna have empathy when you see that information, what it's just been shown. So hey, keep doing what you do. But their hand is going to be, the strings is about to get cut over the black community and other communities here in America. They just don't know it yet because they think that they're the superior ones. You ain't superior to God, the Most High God. The ones who think like that. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy this video. Like and subscribe and share this information and let them know. They keep doing what they do. This is going to be a result of it, and it's already going back. And I'm going to upshow what the ones that they ain't telling you. That Scott Ritter and McGregor, they telling you some things that they're not telling you on mainstream news. You need to listen to them, and I can back it up spiritually with what they're saying. Alright then, you guys take it easy. Till next time, see you on the next video. Be blessed.